perform at their best, perform better, all that stuff. And I thought about this for a while. And, obviously on the surface, there's specific workouts you can do. There's specific drills. There's nutrition you can have. There's certain things you can do on the surface to help the physical body reach its physical results, right? Then I really, really thought about it and I was like, okay, so the question is from a coach asking, I want to be able to pull out the best out of these athletes. Then I was thinking, okay, well, it'll be more internal than external. Then I really thought about that. And I said, okay, well, what is the coach actually trying to do to the athlete? It's get the internal out of the athlete so that they bring this level of competitiveness and et cetera, a certain type of person that they're trying to extract out of this athlete. Follow me? Now I said, okay, is it easy to pull someone's true self out? Then I realized it's not, right? Well, what's usually blocking this process from happening? Well, I know I'm not going to open up to someone if I don't trust them. If I'm not in a space to where like I know who they are, I know that they have the best interest in what I'm doing, they're looking out for my safety. So I said, okay, how would I pull out this trust or essentially break down these walls that this athlete may or may not have, right? So I kept thinking, and this is what I always do. I always ask layers of why, and I'll get back to that in a second too. But but basically what I realized is how do I earn the trust of an athlete is what I'm truly hearing to get the best results out of them. And it's gain their respect, gain their trust. Well, how do I gain the respect, gain their trust? Last video I talked about, training girls like girls, and I expressed that guys like to see the physical actions taken. And when they see these physical actions, maybe you're just an athlete yourself, maybe you're bigger, stronger, maybe you're athletic, maybe you have a lot of wisdom. There's something that they want to have and they respect, right? And on the girl side, it's you've tapped into having a conversation, being vulnerable with them. You've shown that you can hold emotional conversations, you can hold emotional safety. You create an emotional safe space for them that they now respect, right? You have these layers within you. I thought about that and I was like, it sounds like it comes from me. If I am physically a person that the guys respect and I am emotionally a safe space for women to respect, then that's going to then allow that athlete to trust my program and then to try my program exactly how it should be to then get the results they're looking for. So I worked myself all the way down. So I'm going to pause here because I want to get through this process of layers of why and then get back to what it takes. So right now I went through my brain process and it went from, well, what workout should we do? Which is probably why most of you guys are listening, to me, right? These layers of why is exactly how I get to my results, right? So layers of why basically is whatever your viewpoint is, whatever your belief system is, I would ask why as many times as possible. So if I say I believe the sky is red, then I would ask myself why. And then I would answer that to myself, right? And only I know if I'm giving a real answer or not, right? Being honest with myself. If I say the sky is red to myself and I say because I read that in a textbook, then the real thing is if I ask why did that, well, why is that true? Why is that valid or credible? Then I would think about that and say, well, it's credible because it's in a textbook. Okay. Then I would ask myself, well, how is a textbook credible when almost anyone can put out information, right? And all you have to do is cite your sources. So if I cite a source of a person that's not as credible, does that make whatever I'm saying true? Then I would answer that question, right? Then I would say, well, who's this person? Why is this person credible that wrote this book? Then I would continue, right? Most people, whenever it comes to a lot of their belief systems, we typically only go through one or two layers of why. And for me, growing up old school, we never asked why, because whenever we asked why, it was seen as a form of disrespect. So when you ask yourself multiple layers of why, in this situation, I asked myself 4 layers of why, I got to a real answer, right? And this helps many ways. One, it helps me understand, like, what am I really getting at? What am I really hearing? What am I receiving? And what's my true, honest gut answer? And then on the other end is it helps me understand the athlete that much better because I'm asking these layers of why or what they're really asking. Then sometimes it's what they're really asking. Because this generation, they don't really have as many heart-to-heart opportunities that maybe you and I have if you're a millennial or older. And that's just not how it was. I mean, if I had a bully, the bully was physically in front of me and said, "I don't like you as a person." Right now, bullies can be all types of people, or just passive comments that are on social media. It's really weird dynamic. Okay, so I'm saying that to say, number one is going to be multiple layers of why. Question your belief systems. Okay. And as you question those belief systems, you're going to get to multiple layers of why. Then, as you can answer those multiple layers of why, you're going to notice that you're going to see a change in your answers for athletes. And they're going to see a change in your understanding of their question because maybe they can't articulate exactly what it is that they're trying to say. Okay. So, dialing this back to how to improve your athletes, we've already gone through the layers of why and talked about how um, it's internal trust thing, right? What I truly, truly realized is to get the best out of my athletes, I had to be the best version of me. So forget the them for a second. And I think about when did I perform at my best as an athlete? Then when have I received the best results as a coach? So the first part as an athlete was in high school, my best season, I want to say, was my senior year. Um, I just trusted my coaches, right? I knew that my coaches didn't really understand a lot about technical pieces, but they did build my trust. Dean Winter was my jump coach. I just connected with him a couple weeks ago and just told him thank you, how much I appreciated him, or appreciate him actually. And basically, he was my English teacher. And again, he didn't know about triple jump. He told me I don't know. And that helped me because I was like, if you don't know, then I don't know. Let's figure it out. And the other part was him being in my English class. He actually put me into a leadership program that sent me to some mountain somewhere for a trip. And in that trip, I learned and grew so much. I questioned him. I'm like, I'm not in leadership. Why are you putting me in this leadership class? He's like, because you're a leader. You are. I see that in you. And when I went to this leadership camp, I met so many different people, types of people, personalities, and they all had this leadership quality that I gravitated towards. And I just had one of the most amazing experiences. That was a timestamp of my life. And that action from him is what helped me trust him and do more. But also, it helped me believe in me more, which then I was like, I like that he's this type of person and I perform better. Okay. Now, when it came to being a coach, one of my greatest years, I mean, I really honestly feel like each year as it goes becomes greater and greater. Last year, we had 3 athletes at the California State Championships. We took third, fourth, and sixth. That's crazy, right? And this year, we're even deeper. And so the year before, we had 16 athletes make nationals. Before that, we had 18 athletes make nationals. We had a national champion. It's just every year's getting great. But what I will say is the year that set me to this level of expectation was 2017, and that's where Dominique Rutolo finished third behind Jasmine Moore and JB Robinson for the U20 National Championships. She was 17. In that year, she improved 4 feet. She went from 48 to 41.7. I'm not 38 to 41.7. Let me correct that. And what did I do during that time? Well, personally, during that time, I was like low key depressed. I was, I didn't have a car. I made the least amount of money I had ever made ever as an adult. Well, with the hours that I was working. And but what I was doing during that time was I was meditating, doing a lot of self work. I was reading out on how to improve my life. I was understanding just my spirituality. I was diving deep into who I was as a person, and I was reading a lot. I was literally reading a book per week. um, I was just in this space where I was like, I need to figure out life because only thing I have right now that's holding me up is track and field. And I wasn't competing either that year. So I was just waking up, and mind you, I only coach full time. Like I coach full time. So during that time I had my club team Monday, Wednesdays, and then I had the high school, which was 2 hours per day, during the week, and then track meets on weekends. And then obviously with her, I was doing track at the college meets. So what I'm getting at is I found my best win as an athlete in high school. I was realizing that I was a leader. I was doing something physically to help me become a better person and understand myself. Then, as a coach, when I was physically working on myself. So, there's a connecting piece there. And what that connecting piece is, my best years were the best times where I was working on myself. And every single thing around me is what worked. Now, as a professional athlete, I was training every single day, did not watch TV. I was really focused on just being the best version of me physically on the track, right? But also, I was working on myself by visualizing, meditation, a lot of internal calming the mind work. And man, like what I've done now is I've kept that going, right? I make sure that I can do a lot more, obviously. But what I'm getting at, right, because I'm like I'm going on a tangent, is you got to work on you. If you're a person that grew up with trauma, which we all have, right? Assess what the trauma is. If you grew up in a household that was a bunch of screaming and yelling, well, you might have a certain uh, threshold for screaming and yelling. What if you're just numb to it and screaming and yelling is what you're used to? Is the athlete used to screaming and yelling? Because what if you're a screaming and yelling type of coach? And just the way that you approach coaching is screaming and yelling because that's what got you to your results, right? What if it harmed you and it wasn't good at all? You hated that. Or what if you needed screaming and yelling to help you get to the next level? Everyone's different, right? And there's no judgment there at all because I have my experiences, right? But what I'm saying is sometimes if you're using these ways of coaching and that's what you know, it doesn't work for every single person. So how can you expect screaming and yelling to work for someone that's soft spoken, right? I talked before in the last video about if you're screaming and yelling to a girl athlete and it triggers her fight or flight response, and her response is to hide and run away. Well, you just pushed an athlete away from performance because of what you think is the best for you or best for her, right? So what I'm really getting at is when you are the best version of you, you then yield the reaction and response of athletes to see your vulnerability, and then they're more inclined to move into your direction, right? When you are in shape, when you're, at your best level of physical representation, maybe your hair is done, you have a nice lineup, or like you just look like you care about yourself, you care about things, the athlete then feels that you care about them as well, right? When you're not in shape, you're walking out with bag of chips and you're just like not taking care of yourself. But more importantly, you feel that you're not taking care of yourself. The athletes feel that. Okay. Just like the young kids, animals, they can sense this energy coming from you. And if you're not a happy person, not take that back. If you're not currently happy, I'll say it that way. The kids see it and they're going to gravitate towards that. It's very important for you to get the best results out of your athletes is being the best version of you. What that now means is if you're investing time into you to be the best version of you, then the athletes are going to do what? They're going to look up to you. They're going to follow what you do. And now if you're working on yourself, they're going to work on themselves. If you're honest with yourself, they're going to reflect and be honest with themselves. So if you came here to listen to me say, do these drills, do this workout, work hard, that's not this video. Because honestly, take the time to be in the best you, because once you have that set, one, you're going to be in a great place as a person, which allows you to be happy. And once you're happy and feeling good and excited to go coach these kids, the kids are going to then see that excitement and then give that back to you and then want to work hard and then want to do more. And I have this conversation with my athletes every single day, just continuing to be the best version of themselves. I share what I've been doing with myself. They share what they've been doing. And now we have something in common, just off of general basics, right? Keep that in mind. Hopefully this was very supportive for you. I understand it was a whole different type of answer, but do me a favor and let me know what results you've gotten, by making simple changes for yourself. And also if you've seen any changes in your athletes because of what you've been doing. And one last thing is a challenge for you. Think of a phrase that you'd like to hear. Maybe it's a thank you, maybe it's I care about you, or you're very supportive. Whatever phrase that you like that makes you feel good. Make it your goal for probably next week or this week to have someone say, without you telling them, that positive affirmation. As in, if I say, wow, I'm a good person, if I truly feel that, my goal will be this week, I want to hear someone say to me, you're a great person. So I'm going to live life this week doing something and doing things all week until someone says that to me. And then let me know how you feel. Put that in the comment box below or the chat box and let me know if you're going to do that. And if you are, email me or let me know on the comment below how it felt to you. All right. Till next time.